We are live. We are live 5 minutes early. Welcome, everyone. Excuse me, I just had a moment of choking, so hoping to recover from that quickly. I still need to learn how to drink from a straw, apparently. So, welcome everybody. It is Monday at noon or 5 minutes before noon, which means it's time for Monday Jumpstart with Happy Paper People. We are going live 5 minutes early, so we have time to say hi to everyone as they come in. And so we can get started right at noon and have 1 hour of good crafting time. So if you are watching on the replay, welcome and thank you for taking the time to watch. We invite you to join us live anytime you have the opportunity. We know that a lot of people are working during the day and don't have the option on Monday at noon. And so we appreciate you taking time to watch the replay. You, if you would like to, may jump to the 5 minute mark because that is where we will start making our project today. Excuse me. We'll just take the first 5 minutes to say hello to Miss Glynis. Hello, Glynis.
Hi, Glynis.
I know you're not feeling super great today, so thank you for being here. I hope you get feeling better. I hope some rest and relaxation. And you're probably not snowing yet, are you? In Canada? Are you?
I would hope not. Already?
I would hope not, but you never know. Weirder things have happened.
True.
So going 5 minutes early allows for YouTube to send out notification, not just saying that Happy Paper People is going to go live at noon, but it sends out a notification that says Happy Paper People is live now. And that way people can jump in and go, oh yeah, I almost forgot. And there they are, and we figured that 5 minutes will give us time to say hello to everybody. Of course, if nobody's here till noon, then our 5 minutes saying hello is, not saying hello, except just to Glenn. Snow is getting closer. The Rockies have new snow. We do have one mountain down here that got snow recently. So, yeah, hopefully it'll stay up in the mountains a little while longer. I'm good for another couple of months, honestly.
The snow doesn't even let the leaves change.
Yeah, the leaves are changing now, and they are so beautiful. They really, really are cool. I'm wanting to get a little bit of adjustment on my camera if I can. I like the angle, so that's a little bit better. There we go. So maybe I'll start setting the time for start at 11:55. That will give us 5 minutes when people expect it to start at 11:55, because I have a feeling everybody's going to jump in at 12 o'clock and then, we're going to try to jump right into our project. It's a fun project, and it can take as long as you want it to take or as big as you make it. But I'd like to get it completed today so that everybody can see it completed. But so that's just a cool little book with its teeny tiny pages.
Oh, this one, mine, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I see what you put on the cover.
Oh, the cover I haven't done anything with yet.
Oh, was that the cover that was on it?
That was the cover that was on it. Yeah.
Oh,
and it's a little book.
Grandson watched to watch something else, but I wanted to pop in and say hi. I'm waving to everybody. Aw, that's awesome. Say hello to your grandson. Give him a great big hug. Thanks, Carrie, for at least coming in for a minute. We appreciate it, and we miss you. We know on Mondays you're working, and just even to sneak in is awesome. So it's good to see you. We get to see Carrie often when we have an evening Laugh and Craft or tutorial, so she could join us live. But Monday is difficult during the day, so it is good to see you. Carrie, we went live 5 minutes early just to have time to say hello to everybody as they came in, but nobody's coming in until noon. So, and last week we didn't have Monday Jumpstart because I was out of town. So hopefully everybody hasn't forgotten that, Mondays are our day. We love Mondays. Good start to a new week, especially starting out with an art project. That's the best way to start the week, is with an art project, I think.
Yes.
It's the best way to go through the week. It's the best way to end the week.
It's the best way to wake up every day. It's the best way to go to sleep every day.
Yeah. I don't see Margie yet. I don't see Sylvia yet. I don't know. I haven't even talked to either of them. I just got back in town and haven't talked to anybody, so I don't know, who's around and what is going on. But we're gonna give it one more minute. Happy to watch this one, as I've been gel printing since we did our live, so I have lots and lots of gel printed pages. Carrie, when you said that you'd been gel printing for 3 weeks, I was so excited. I can't wait to see all the prints that you pulled. That's awesome. I love doing that, just pulling out your gel plates and leaving them sitting there. And then anytime you have time for 3 weeks, you're in and out, just doing a little bit more. I'll bet you got some really good pulls. You should hold your phone and even just turn the pages like this so we could see all the cool prints that you got.
And Carrie's a very clean gel printer too.
Yes, she is. Hi, Jen.
Her pulls are very clean and pretty.
Jen's in a meeting. She's working. We love you too. Thank you. We appreciate it. We appreciate all the thumbs up and the shares. If anybody feels inclined to share on their channel. If you know anybody else who likes to gel print, this is a great way to use your gel prints. A lot of times people always ask me, we love to gel print. It's lots of fun. And then they say, well, what do you do with the papers after you gel print? You got all these papers that you've made. What do you do with them? And we have lots of ideas. We use them in lots of ways. So this is a new one that I haven't shared before that I really like to do. We'll talk about a couple different ways we use them today, but we're going to make the one. So all right, it is 12 o'clock, so we're going to go ahead and get started. And those who come in can come in as they do. So we all have lots of gel prints. Those people who have a gel plate and like to play on it with paint, You've got your stack. Awesome. DM Hazards, I'll take lots of photos and post them in the group. Thank you, Carrie. Thank you, because I really would love to see them all. Okay, so I'm going to show you a couple of things here. Well, first, let me show you what we're going to make today. We are going to make art journals from our own gel prints or altered paper. Maybe you don't gel print, maybe you don't care to gel print, but you do alter paper. Maybe you put it in a box and you put stencils on it and you spray it, or you like to take copy paper and put stencils and ink them and make different designs and things like that. That's altered paper. So you can use altered paper or gel prints for this, and it makes a fantastic art book. The coolest part about it is that you are the designer and the creator and the maker, essentially the publisher of this art journal. So here are a few that I have done. And I will tell you that I typically don't put the gel prints that I love the most in here. I'm considering holding some of the ones that I love the most to the side and then using those all in one art journal. And that will be the one that I can look at for inspiration. Those are the ones that I just love the most. But the reason that I don't put the ones that I love the most is because this art journal is something that I am going to continue to alter and doodle in. And so I don't really want to wreck something that I already love exactly the way it is. So this has all kinds of pages. I've done a few things on this one, and I really like it. Part of me wants to just keep doodling on it. Part of me likes it just the way it is. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But something like this, it was fun to spray that was sprayed, and one piece of a end of a stencil. The rest was on the other end of the paper. But there's plenty of space for doodling there. This one was just super, super dark. So I started doodling on it in white. I actually painted on it. You can see that reflection there. I painted on it with some color changing water paints just to see what they would do. And I didn't really like the way the white was on. So then I took a gold gel pen instead of white and started doodling over that. So that's still got a lot more doodling to do on it. I didn't really care for this page at all because I felt like I should have kept going on the gel plate. It's just too pink and cream. That it had no depth. That just made me feel like Pepto-Bismol. So that's a good page to put in here because I can alter that with all kinds of colors and anything I want to do with it. I love this. I love the color and I love the print. It's not a very clear print. I've done this a bunch of times. And this one just is not a very clear print. So I thought that will be a fun one just to doodle on. I do like the stencil on that, the dandelions. How fun will that be to doodle on? Just a few. I do like these, but it's really light, so it could use some doodling. Turned out okay. This is a piece of wallpaper, and I don't think I'd really use it for anything because it's just, it's okay. So they're just ones that still need something. This page I've already doodled on. I'm not sure that I'm done, but I started doodling on it with a gold gel pen. Okay, so here's a good example of something that I wanted to show you. As you're deciding what papers to use for this today, you might say, well, I've got this one that is, it was a round gel plate. And so I'll show you when we get to it. And so I've got a lot of white on it because it was just a round gel plate. I don't want all that white on there. Use it because this was the gel plate. It was a round gel plate. All of this was white around it. And so I just took a black pen and doodled all the way around the red. I haven't decided what to do inside here, but I just did the doodle design all the way around the outside of the gel print. Hey, Casey, good to see you. A little bit of a break there. Okay, so here's another one. It's cool looking. It's got great texture on it, but blah. It's just kind of blah. It needs stuff. So again, these are not my favorite ones. Here's one where I started doodling. Again, this was the round one. And so I started doodling around it with different colors of pens to see what I thought about that. Not sure if I like it or not. I like the intensity of this one more, being all in the black and white. So I like to pick the ones that are not my absolute favorites so that as I alter them, I'm not freaking out about ruining, a picture that I really do like. This is a gel print as well. And as we pull them, you'll just pick one to be your cover. So here's another one. I think you saw the other half of this page there's a half a page, and the other half was in the first book that we just went through. There might be some of the same things. There might be some different things, but again, nothing that I really absolutely loved. There's the other half of that one, but all good doodling and building on. So if it's a page that I really, really love, I'm going to use that in something else. And if it's a page that, well, there's a lot of really good things about it, but I'm just not crazy in love with it, then I can build on it here. I can doodle. I can grab ink and stencils. I can grab paint. So here's the round one. Perfect example. A round one, lots of white. Well, that's not a great page because there's all that white, you think. But when you doodle all the way on the outside, you see what happened with the page that I showed you in that book. It looks really cool. So there's another one like the dandelion. So this one's just a little bit smaller. You can make it as big as you want by using as many pages as you want. It is just bound with book binding tape. And this one is a mini one. This is a little kid's book board, and I just covered the pages. This one I actually covered it with some of my very favorite gel prints that I had on hand at that moment. And you can do something on it, or you can just leave it as is, just like that. I just did the edges black. Could have done them a little, I'll do them a little more black. But so that is the art journal, and it's making your own personal art journal with your own personal art that you can then continue doing art on in this art journal. And you can art in any way you want on it, mixed media, stencils, paint, ink, whatever it is. So how do you choose your papers to go in there? We like to gel print on everything. So one of the things I like to gel print on is a tissue paper. And because tissue paper is thin and it tears real easily, and it's wonderful for collage. It's not so good for a book page because there's not enough there. It needs a little more strength. So if it's on tissue paper, I am already going to set that aside. Give me just 1 second. I forgot to check and make sure on my audio. Okay, it's fine. All right. I wanted to set these here, and if I didn't check that, then you might hear a whole bunch of scratching sound, and I didn't want that. Again, another one. This would make a great gel page in the art journal, but it's on tissue paper, so it's a little bit too light.
Hey, Marianne, that heart is there, and I know people want that gone.
Oh, I am so sorry. Thank you. Thank you for the reminder, because I forgot. Let's see here. And that only takes a few seconds to get rid of. All right, where is today's live? There's today's edit. Thank you for the reminder. I totally forgot. Getting my head back in the game after being gone a week. Okay, is it gone? Should be.
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. Okay, so I am going to run through these and show you. This is paper, but it is either a heavy paper or a light cardstock. That is perfect. So these are all ones that I could use. Now this one is already a half a page, but it's the long half of the page. And what I'll typically do is cut the page in half this way so that I can use the two, those 2 pages in 2 different books. Now you could leave it, you could leave it full size. You could do 8.5 by 11 so that you have larger pages to work on. So it all depends on what size art journal you want to do. If you'd like it a little bit bigger, you could cut this way and then leave this thin strip, and I'll show you what to do with that in a minute. But if you fold it that way and that is your page, that is going to be a little bit bigger than cutting it in half the other way. So it's going to be just a hair taller, but a whole inch or so wider. So you can decide how big you want your book. And with these pages, you can literally cut it any size you want. So I'm just checking these papers, and these are all regular, either copy paper or a cardstock. I personally like a cardstock. It makes for good, thick, heavy pages that are easy to do anything you want on and not worry about mediums or media going through them. But just a plain copy paper works just as well. And these are all ones that are not my absolute favorites, but they could become really cool with a little bit additional done to them. Okay, I really do like that one, but that would be fun to doodle in the hearts. So I think that's why I stuck that one in this pile. I really do like that one too. But okay, so all of these, in fact, I'm pretty sure that this whole stack, that one's a little bit thicker. It's okay. It's still it's cardstock. So that's okay. In fact, yeah, all those are fine. So here is a stack of ones that I have already cut in half. I've used the other half for something. So let me go through here. This is watercolor paper. I'm not going to use watercolor paper because it's really thick and heavy, and it's hard to bend and stay closed. We're going to end up gluing pages together, and so it's going to be twice as thick as it already is. So that is just really heavy. Now, if I want to do a separate one, because I really want to do some stuff over this. Don't like these at all, of course. So I will hold the watercolor separate because I can do something with that. There's more watercolor where we were playing with watercolors and just trying out some different things one day. That good. I think believe that that's a piece of wallpaper, but it's thin enough. That's watercolor paper. That one is as well. When you go to bend it, if it's not super easily flexible like that, it might be too heavy, be a watercolor paper. And again, doing a whole book with just the watercolor paper is fine too. You can use anything you want. This was a real thick mixed media paper, but I think I'll do one that has all black bases too. All right, so the first thing that you do is pull your gel prints or your, excuse me, altered papers. Decide what size you want to do it. If you want to just cut them in half, what is that? Horizontally. If you're standing it up the long way, if you cut them right down the middle horizontally, then you'll have 2 pages, 2 pieces that are this size each, and you could make 2 books out of that. Even this one that has so much white and just a little bit of gel printing, because that was an 8-inch round gel plate, so most of it's on the other page. That's a really heavy paper, so I'm going to set that one aside. That one as well. All right, so you can do as many pages as you want. You can make the book as thick as you want. You can make it a 2 or 3 or 4 inch watercolor paper. Or you could make it just thin, more like a pamphlet size. So it'd be easy to stick in your purse and carry with you for doodling. That is totally up to you. And you may want to do more than one of different sizes for different purposes. That's regular paper. I thought it was watercolor paper. It is not. Okay, but I'm going to put these aside then, because these are not going to be used. They are heavier than I care to put in this. Let me put these aside as well and show you a couple things as you're cutting. All right, so as you're cutting, say I pull out this page and say the size of book I'm going to do is cutting this in half. I'm going to do it the same size as these, so I'm going to cut all my pages in half, and then those folded in half make my book. But this image is long ways, so I can look at it 2 ways. I can still cut it in half, and my page is going to have part color and part not. Hi, Margie. Hi, Irma. Hi, Sylvia. Welcome, welcome.
Hi, everyone.
We started 5 minutes early so we could say hello to everybody, and then we got started right at 12. So thank you for coming in. I know, Sylvia. Isn't it sad that you don't have hundreds and hundreds of pages to choose from? I thought you needed another option of how to use them. So I could take this and I can cut it this way, knowing that that will be my page. And I'll have a white space over here as I turn that. And when you put a page in, you're going to see the whole page together every time. There isn't a center, and then the rest of them, you only see half of it. So I could put this in knowing I have all this white space that I get to doodle on, and I could do that black, and then over here I could go gold or copper or white. Or I can say, I think I would prefer to have it all like this, and I'll cut it this way, which means that I'm going to end up cutting it down part way this way and down this way a bit. I'm going to have to measure that to see how it is. I think I'm going to go ahead and cut it in half. And if this is 11 inches long, then half is always 5.5. So if you're using standard 8.5 by 11 paper, just know you can always cut them at 5.5 and you're fine. Okay, so there's one like that. Okay, also, most of you, when you pick up your gel prints, you're going to have a lot of white border, because there are only a few gel plates that actually go to the border. So unless you used half of it and did it all the way to the border and then used the other half, then you will have some white border. Again, please don't worry about that, because that actually leaves you that option of doodling in the white border all the way around the gel print. Even using multiple colors, you might, on this one, for example, you'd be able to use the white out here around it all the way around it, just like this one. And then you could use the black, and then you could use the white inside. You could use gold inside, and have that contrast. So don't worry about what it's going to look like in the end. Don't think you have to figure out what to do with it right now. Just cut it and prepare it. And
Terry, if you actually use the brown paper from that you get in Amazon packaging,
yes,
that's a little thinner than
it is a
like
little thicker, but it's still thicker
bag.
than tissue paper. So it will work. Pages can be a bit smaller too, as pages can be different sizes. They can. Although, as you see how I put this together, I personally prefer them to be the same size in this book because each page is glued together. And only because of that reason. But that's why I like making different size books. So let me show, for example, I should have cut that the other way because that would have been a perfect example. Here's another one. Okay, so this was already a lengthwise. If I want to be able to use it in here, then I know I need 11. Let's see. I would have cut it this way, but my print is this way. So what I need is whatever the book is, that's 4 1/4, 8 1/2. We know that's right because the page is 8 1/2 by 11, right? This was printed this way, and I cut off that piece right there. So 8 1/2 by 11. So if I would have cut it this way, it would be 4 1/2, or I'm sorry, 4 1/4 by, oh boy, I just said that totally wrong. This is 11, so it'd be 5 1/2 by 8 1/2. So I can't do that because I already cut it this way. So then I know widthwise it's 4 1/4. Double that is 8 1/2. So I need a length of 8 1/2. So it will fold like that. I need a full, I need 8 1/2. So I'm going to just take this and grab a pencil. And I know that right here is 8 1/2. And I'll cut it right there. Okay, so that 8 1/2 folded now becomes the same size as if I had done it horizontally. Now, is it taller than this? Just a hair, just that wee little bit right there. So, and that will make a difference. So I'm going to cut that off. And that is, what is that? That is about a 1/16 of an inch. So I'm just going to put that right there. And cut that right there. Okay. So now it's the same size as if I had taken that page and cut it this way. So what happens when you do that, you didn't see the first one that I did. I should have, if I had cut this one that way to have all the color, I would have ended up with a strip down here, right? And if it's, that strip has color on it, this one does, but it's not very long. So if I fold this in half, it's going to be this size. So I'm going to take scraps of them and make them that size so that I can fold them in half and end up with an art journal that is this size. But when I get those strips, when I choose to use it vertically instead of horizontally, I will keep those strips together and cut all those the same size. So this is just, you can tell it's just an offcut from, and maybe I used it for something else. I just went through my scraps of gel prints, and that's an offcut. So these are all cut the same size, and they're cut that size specifically because I wanted to use this as a book cover, which is different than we're going to bind today, but I just love this. It's the box from some 49 and Market removable or replaceable tape, fabric tape. And so I cut it to be the same size as that. I want to use that as the cover. And so it'll be an art journal with that cool cover on it when that is completed. But that will be, that cover will be a little bit different unless I cut the back off and we do it the same way. So I'm going to put that aside. But what I'm saying is don't throw away those offcuts because those are perfect to use for smaller books. And I love those little books. That's an easy one to carry with you in your purse and be able to have a mini art journal with you anywhere so that you could doodle. So I'm going to go through here and I'm going to choose the pages that I want to put in this art journal. And I don't want to put, you know, I try not to do duplicates of the same one because, you know, if I cut it in half, I've got 2 halves. I can put that in another one, and that's only personal preference. You can put both of them in the same one. It's not a problem. That's just my personal preference. But I'll go through first, and I'll get however many. So I've got the other half of that. I've got a half of that. And however many is going to be double this. So when I get thick enough that I feel like, all right, that's a good size for an art journal. Man, a lot of these need a lot of work, and that's okay because that gives me a lot of freedom in an art journal. It's just starting with a base. And honestly, I find that it makes art journaling a little easier because you're already starting with something. There's not that question of how do I break the page? What do I do to start, you know, with the white page? That's a little thick, but it'll work because the page is already broken. There's already a start for you. And now you just get to add to it, whether you want to stencil and ink or paint or draw or doodle or, you know, the collage fodder that we've been making. That collage fodder is great on these. You can glue it in there, do some doodling along with it. And for those who came in late, I purposefully am using things that I would probably take back to the gel plate and keep working on or do something on them. They're sitting here because they're not my favorites. Don't really care for them. Most of them. I like this one, but it doesn't feel complete. It still needs more. And some doodling could really, really help that. But they're not my favorite ones. My favorite pages I want to hold and use for really awesome projects. So you may choose to use, in fact, I am going to make one that is of my favorite pages. So I have one art journal I can look at for inspiration that has lots of favorite pages in it. I feel like in this one, I've got a lot that are of the same colors or really light and just a brayer off page. So I might go over to this other stack and pull a few that have some different colors. I do like a whole variety. And for those who came in a little bit later and didn't see the book that we were talking about at the beginning, before we put this together, I'll do a quick, I'll pull it out and just flip through it really quickly again so you can see our end goal, where we're headed with this. I already had one like that. That's kind of cool. I already had one like that. Okay, so those are the ones I've discarded from that to be used in another one. So then I'm going to look at this and say, is that about, you know, once it gets in cut and or folded and you know, it's about that thick and I really like it. It's a really good size. So yeah, that's about enough. Then I want to look at it and say, do I have enough variety in there? There's a lot of light. There's a lot of light pages. There's a few dark ones, but there's a lot of these really light with hardly anything. And the other thing that I do then is go through and kind of organize the order I want them in. I don't want like 3 dark ones in a row and then a light one and then 5 light ones in a row. So honestly, that is completely up to you as well. You can just put them in randomly. See, there's a bunch of bright ones. And then we're going to come to a whole bunch of really light ones. So I would take these light ones and I would intersperse them with the dark ones. Just gives the eye a little variety as you're flipping through it. That feels really thick. It will work, but okay. And the other thing, as you're doing this, you want to find one that you do like or one that you didn't put with these that you've held aside that you really do like that you can use as the cover. I really liked this one. And so as I was cutting these, I pulled this one aside and used it as the cover. And it was on black paper. And there was the border that you can tell underneath that it was just black paper border where it didn't go to the edge of the gel plate. And so I just doodled on it to cover that black border. And it looks like it's part of the print. So you can doodle on the cover. You should doodle on the cover as well. I still feel like there's a lot of light in here and not very much dark.
I'll check if she goes off.
Yeah, I think she's okay. Okay, whoops, 2 of that one, didn't catch that. See, I just have a whole lot of light ones and not very many dark ones. So I may pull a few of those out. There's a dark one. Need to keep my eye out for one too that I would like to use as the cover. Now that's kind of a cool cover because I could do a little bit of doodling on it. You can even doodle a book plate on the front. That one would be the front, one would be the back. Not sure. I already have that pattern right there. And so much in this light color. I think I was trying to use up some sprays when I did those. Just a little bit of sprays that were in the bottom, trying to use them up. Looks kind of like the same as that one. No, not quite. We'll get that one in there. So it doesn't have to take long to put them in an order that you like, and you don't have to put them in an order that you like. I just like the visual flow of some light, some dark. See, even going through them like that, I missed some. I put some like duplicates in there. That could be kind of a cool cover too. There's a lot of white, and you could doodle on that. Get some gold. There's a lot of white right there. That's kind of a fun one. And boy, I need to get rid of some of that yellow and green with some white or black pencil. So now just doing that, I pulled out a whole stack, so it may not be thick enough. Yeah, I'd like a little bit more, a few more pages. So I'll just go over here and I'm going to go purposefully look for some pages that are different than
Hi,
what
Julie.
there. Hey, Julie. Hi, Sarah. Good to see you.
Oh, hi, Sarah. I didn't see you.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm pulling some colors that I don't think there really was much or any in that original stack. Oh, here we go. Something bright, something red. And can add a few of those to it. I do like that black. And at the same time, also keeping my eye out for one that I would like as a cover. A half of that one would be cool as a cover too. So with that one, ooh, I know I'm going to use that one as the cover. That's cool. Hearts. It'll make me think of Miss Sylvia. Oh, I like that. Ooh, look at that. That's a pretty orange. That would make me think of DM.
Julie, she hasn't gotten to that point yet. She
together?
will show you.
First,
she wants to know what to do with the blank sides.
You'll see. You will see. We are not quite there yet. Almost. Okay, so that should be enough based on what I pulled out to replace the ones I pulled out. So I'll quickly cut these. I only need half of them. These two are lengthwise. So if I take this and say exactly what that dimension is, it's 5.5 because that's half of an 11 sheet paper. And it is 8.5 this way. So I need 8.5 by 5.5. So I'm going to go here and say I need 8.5 this way. And then this way should be 5.5. It is just slightly over 5.5. So just pick whichever side you want to cut that 1/16 of an inch from. Either one. I will keep this. That will go just like the other one we had in a small art journal. All right, so we can pretty quickly, I think that one's good. That one is, what if we use that end? 5.5. Let's do 8.5 right there. And if it's not big enough, then I'll have to set it aside and say, well, I'll make a smaller one than that. This will make a nice page there. So keep those. All right. So I'm just going to whip through these and cut them in half really quickly. So we can get on.
Do you want to go ahead while you're doing that and put it on me so that I can show them what I'm doing? Because mine is a little different.
What are you doing?
I am gluing mine to the pages of a little book. I am using sheer fabrics and shearer paper.
So wait, you're not doing the same project I'm doing?
No, because remember mine was I was using that book that I did last night. So I'm just sticking them to the pages like you would do on the
I thought you were going to pull your gel prints and use
I did, but they were all thin ones. I didn't have enough to do a big.
Oh, I thought you said you had some thick ones. Okay. No. Well, I'm going to wait till the end then and show them what you're doing because I don't want to confuse like we're doing the same project. And then people say, well, wait a minute. How do I do that and that?
Okay.
They don't go together. So we'll keep them as separate projects.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't have enough big ones.
I'm sorry.
I didn't have enough. It would have been like a 4-page.
I could have given you some.
I
thought you said you had some others that were
no.
thicker. I'm sorry. Missed that. My brain's still not all together. And I'm only putting half of what I cut in here because I don't want 2 pages that are the same. Like these I could use because the 2 sides are completely different. Most of them, the 2 sides are not completely different. And again, you can use both sides. That's just my personal preference, is to have them be different. Okay, so these go aside to be used another time. That goes aside. We're done with the paper trimmer. Here's all our pages. I need to decide which one I want to use as the cover, and I know which one. I really like that one. I really like that one too. That would make a cool cover. But I think I'm going to use the hearts. So I'm looking for the heart. Did I put it in here? I didn't. I set it aside. Okay. All right. So there was 2 sides to the heart page. I'm going to use this one as the cover of this book. Okay, so I'm going to set this aside because I don't want to accidentally put it into my book and forget that I wanted to use it as a cover. So I've added.
How many pages do you have there, Marianne?
How many do I have? And you can make it as thick as you want.
Right. Julie was asking how many pages you had. So I asked if you could just do approximation.
Thank you. 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. I can't tell you exactly how many are in this one. I know this one's a little bit thicker, but, and sometimes I make them like 2 inches thick because they open flat. They open completely flat to keep working in. So, all right. So then the next thing you do, and this, I may not get completely through with this book just because of time, but because I want to show you every step. So the next thing we need to do is take each page and fold it in half and crease it really, really good. So you can crease it with your fingers, with a bone folder, whatever it is. But you just quickly, is anybody making it along with us? Anybody making it along with us? Or is everybody waiting to see what it is and they'll make it later? I hope you make it later.
What it is.
It is really fun. And it's awesome to pick up your art journal and know that you actually created the pages. I mean, I love my Diane Reevely art journals where she created the background on the pages like that for me to art journal on top. But it's so much more rewarding and fun to pick up the art journal and know that I created the background of the pages that I'm now going to work on. So I do hope you all take time and make you one of your own prints. I know a lot of you have a lot of gel prints, and some of you don't gel print, and I know some of you have altered paper, whether you've done it with stencils or with sprays. I know you have. It doesn't matter if there's crusties sticking up, like this one picked up the whole edge of the gel plate. Listen, as I try to go over it, you can hear it scraping.
Yes, Julie, it will be a good reference video.
And that's going to be really cool when I go to play in that art journal. Yeah, and Julie, that's one of the reasons that I will take the ones that I love. These are not my absolute favorite gel prints because I'm going to continue to art on top of them. But the ones that I do love, that I've done multiple layers and I really love how it turned out, I will take those. I'm kind of collecting those on the side. And when I have as many as I want for a book, I will bind a book that is just those. In fact, I think I'm going to hold that one out for it. I like that one a lot. And that can be like a idea book, an idea book, just like we do with ephemera in it. It's an idea book for mixed media, for art journal, or for gel printing, for altering. Is that on both sides? It is. I like this one better because it's got more of the bee. So I'm going to hold it this way. Now, you're only going to see one side of this paper. And so if you come to a page like that where there is something on both sides, choose which side you like the most and fold that to the inside. So you're going to go through and you're going to do, we might get all the way through. You're going to fold this all the way, or fold every one of them in half.
You're at 12:42 if you don't.
Okay. I got my watch, just looked at that. So I think we're good. 20 minutes left. And you can see that honestly, it doesn't take a super long time to make your very own art journal. I'm going to keep that one out because that's really thick plasticky from packaging. It really doesn't take that long to make your own art journal from your own pages. What takes the longest is just going through all your gel prints and pulling out the ones that you want to use.
Yep.
I would first go through and pull out. I don't remember if I have one with this design or that design in here. So if I come to this design, I will flip this and use the other side. But those will be great for doodling inside each of those little shapes. And remember, when you work in an art journal, you can use anything. You can use paint and paste and gesso and all the things that you normally do. The sprays, the markers. Both of those are cool shapes. I think I've not had one of these in any of my art journals, so I'm going to use that shape. And again, you can make it as thick as you want. Sometimes I make them as thick as like 2 inches because they open flat. So whatever page you're working on, you can open it flat, which I love. That one is, so it's a little too thick, but that's because it's 2 pages. I think I had 2 of those. Some of them I just really want to cover up almost the whole thing. So I may end up putting a stencil down and doing all kinds of stuff on it to totally hide what's there. It just, at least it's not a white page behind. So there would be some color behind it. playing with some watercolors on this one. And yeah, that's one I want to totally cover up the entire thing. Except I like that blue background. It's pretty. Single-sided scrapbook paper would be nice too. Yes. Yeah, I know, Margie. Not everybody gel prints, and that is okay. Single-sided scrapbook paper or cardstock would work.
Yes.
Absolutely. So if you wanted to pull out, and you can make it any size. So if it's a 12 by 12 and you want to cut it in half and fold it like this, you would end up with a 6 by 6, which is an awesome size art journal. You would end up with a 6 by 6 art journal. So yeah, and on that, I would use single-sided so that you don't waste double-sided paper because you're not going to see one side of it. Okay, so then the only next thing to do is to organize what order they're going to be in. And so because I know I've got a lot of really light ones, I don't necessarily want, you know, a nice bright one next to another full color one. I'd like some, you know, some of those light, although maybe because I put all these additional ones in, there will be, I'm going to do this quicker than normal, but you can lay them out even before you fold them in half and then just organize your stack, the color that you would like it, or the color order that you would like it. That would make a cool cover. That one's just really awesome. Maybe I want to keep that for an inspiration one. Let's see. Okay. And also which you want to be the top and the bottom. So if I look at this, if this is going to be my book, and this is the top, this is the bottom. As I put the pages in order, I can see what's going to be on top, what's going to be on bottom, which direction do I want it to go. Doesn't seem like would make any difference, but you know what? It does. It does. Especially, well, that B would be fine going up or down. Either way. Get some other dark in there by the B. The rest of them, I kind of already put them in an order, I think. So they might be okay. Unless I totally pulled them out and messed them up again. So let's see here. All right, so I can also do this and see if I've accidentally cut one much larger or much smaller than the others. This one seems a little, was it just stuck on one? No, that one is bigger. Not sure why. Because that is a heavier paper, and so it might be a 4 instead of 8.5 by 11. Okay, those are all close enough. All right, I'll deal with that one later. Okay, so then I'm holding out the one I'm going to use as the cover. Okay, I'm not bringing that anywhere near these so that I can't accidentally glue it inside. So this is going to be my book just like this, then with the cover on it. And so I'm going to take these pages and I'm going to glue them together. And what I'm going to glue is back to back right here. So when I glue that back to back, I'm going to open this. When I turn the page, this is what's next. Okay. So once you've folded them, super easy. And I'm only going to glue one side at a time. And if you have a PVA glue, which mine's out in the other room with someone else. So I would, no, that's totally okay. I would put it on here. I would not do it super heavy because you don't want to make your paper all warpy. If I don't have it with me or I'm traveling and making this and not, you know, just didn't carry it, then all I would do is take a good glue and I'm only going to go around the edge because I don't want to waste a good glue putting it on the entire page. And then I'll take a glue stick and just give it some in the inside. I don't need it. It's okay.
I'm not using
it. And then I'll take that and just do it on the inside. Okay. And then I'm going to put these two together. And I need to just quickly make sure that they are lined up there and there. I can always trim the outside edge if I need to. So what's most important is making sure that those two folded edges are lined up. Once the folded edges are lined up, I can put the rest of it down. And, you know, even that I'm not perfect on, and I don't worry about it because it always works out just fine. So there's my first 2 pages. There's the first one. There's the second one. They are now glued together. So flip that over, and now I'm going to glue the third one on. So make sure that the edge you're gluing always stays the same. This is the folded edge. That's the spine. And this, the folded edge, that's the spine. So I've got them lined up just like they are pages already. That way I don't accidentally glue the open side. I don't want to accidentally glue the open side to the closed side and end up with a page that won't open at all. So I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to pick it up because I can't do that laying down. I'm going to line up my corner there. I'm going to line up my corner there. And then I can set it down and rub the rest of it. Now, when it's all done, if I've got little excess around here, I can trim that off if I want or not. I didn't even bother on those. Okay, before I go to put the next one, I'm going to make sure that because I picked it up and rubbed it all over, I'm going to make sure I set it down the right direction. Did I set it down the right direction? There's my second page. There's my third page. Okay, and here's my fourth page. All right, so I'll just continue to do that. So I don't trust the glue stick to hold the whole thing up to the corners because it does get quite a bit of pressure on it. So just that tiny bit of a good quality glue on the edges. I'm also not worried about going exactly to the edge, you notice, because once I get the book together, if I've got some edges that are still open, I can stick the glue in and get that sealed up. But what I don't want is glue when I do this. I don't want glue pushing out because when it pushes out, it will touch these edges and I'll come back here and then try to do this and this will be glued together. This edge will be glued together. So that's why I do that. And every time I put one on, I go back and open all the others. I don't know if you heard that, but that one, when I opened it, there was a little bit of glue on the top somewhere because I heard it pull apart. So I just check them each time so they don't have time to really solidify. Okay, this one is going, I can double check to see what direction they're going before I put them on. So just a little bit of glue around the outside. A little bit of glue stick on the inside. And if I use the PVA, I would just, take the brush and put a little bit all over without completely saturating it. Okay. Let's see here. Julie, you can call it your Willy Wonky book.
Wonky Willy book would be funnier.
Wonky is totally fine. And Julie, you just put it together. When you get all done like this, if you've got wonky edges coming out, okay, this one I did trim up here because I had some wonky edges. You can see there's a little wonky edge right there that I could trim off, and I didn't worry about that. But you can, now it's all together, you can go and trim with your scissors any wonky edges sticking out there. And so it'll be perfect if that's really important. What I really like about things like the gel plate and making stuff like this is it helps me get past that need for perfection because I have enjoyed art so much more since embracing the concept that imperfectly perfect, that imperfect is perfect. Yep. And I really like when something's looking a little wonky, I say it's imperfectly perfect. When I was really worried about making sure that everything was absolutely perfect, I did not enjoy my art as much.
Mm-hmm.
You're just putting way too much pressure on yourself to do that.
Yep.
Right?
Right.
And art should be fun. Art should be enjoyable. I love that.
Yes.
So don't you be the one to make it so difficult that you can't enjoy it. Oops, I just went over the edge on that. So I'm going to need to check and make sure it's not going to glue pages together. As I get this one on, I do the glue first and the glue stick second, because the glue stick I think will dry even faster. And if it dries, then the center isn't going to stick together. This one has paint on the back, so it's kind of a weird texture to be rubbing that, but I need to double check these pages. And they're a little bit wet because they've got glue on them, even though you see that I didn't put that much glue on them. So when I'm done, I will set it out like this, open it up. See, that one's kind of stuck together just a bit. I will open it up and set it out like this just to make sure that every page can dry. And I'll wait until it's completely dried, and then I'll go back and I'll check for edges that might be a little open or corners that didn't get enough glue to the corner. Okay. I'm going to do 1256. Okay, I'm going to do this last one, and then I'm going to show you how to bind it, and it is so super simple. So by gluing each of these pages together, you are effectively holding the book together. You don't have to sew through them. You don't need to, I don't even know what. You don't have to go sew through each one of them or even sew them at all, because every single page is held to the next page. So yep. It's just kind of awesome, because all you want is the front of those pages anyway. And it also makes the pages double thick. So hi, Lindy. Good to see you. It makes the pages, hi, Diane. Makes the pages double thick. So when you go to use it as an art journal, if you want to put some medium on it or media, add some color, put some paint, some spray, whatever it is, you've got a double thick page to do that on. Okay. So that's the process that you continue with this whole stack. Gluing the back of your last one on here to the back of the front of that one, glue those together, and you just keep adding pages. And you can add pages and keep looking at it and make it as thick or thin as you want. You might want to make a bunch that are thin like this, that are easy for you to carry, so that you could doodle and things when you're in public and not have to carry a great big book. You might make a great big one for at home or something in front of the TV. So again, I choose the gel prints that are not my absolute favorites, that still have a lot that in my mind are either really lacking or have a lot that could be done to them, because it gives me then the opportunity to not ruin something that I really already like, but to add to something that really needs help. So don't look at them and go, oh, this book looks awful. The point is, it's not your very favorites. So this was a round gel plate that just had a whole bunch of white around it. It looked really, really boring. So I sat last week through a meeting and just doodled with a black pen all the way around it. And now I really love it, because the red and yellow and orange really accent the black. Okay, so every page just starts out as, you know, a boring page that you weren't super crazy about until you start doodling on it or painting on it. I couldn't paint in the middle of a meeting, so all I could do was doodle. But some of them I want to take some stencils and some texture paste and then do some sprays on them and things like that. All right, so now we have the one that we chose as the cover, and that is going to be this one. This one, I'm going to cut it in half. I'm actually going to cut it in half. Half to be the front cover, half to be the back cover. And we know that this is 8.5. So half is going to be 4 1/4. So 4 1/4 is going to give me a book cover. Now, because they're exactly the same, I could choose which one I want as the front cover and which one I want as the back cover. It really doesn't even matter. This was all one, and I cut it in half, but because you've got the black in between, doesn't matter. Okay, so I'm going to use this one as the front cover. So I'm going to then glue this one on to, is this the front? Yep, this was the first page. So we're pretending like I have this entire stack done and they're all glued together like this. And now all I'm going to do is cover and bind it. You can see how fast, literally how fast you can make an art journal that you designed, created, made, effectively published, one copy of. Okay, so I want to make sure that this lines up exactly, mostly with the outside edge, because I know the inside edge is going to be covered in here. So I want it to line up on the outside. Then I will push it down. It's lined up top to bottom. Okay, so there's my cover. Oop, got a little too close to the edge there. That's why I do it now. I don't worry about anything that squishes out and gets on here because that's all going to be covered anyway. I do worry about anything that squishes out on this side. So again, I will just run through and open these and make sure I didn't squish any glue out that is now sticking the edges of these pages together. Like that one right there. You hear a little bit of sticky now and then, and so I'll just wipe it. Make sure you need to grab a baby wipe, wipe that off. And oops, yep, the last page that we've got a little glued on. So that's why you have to do it every time, so it doesn't have time to completely set up and hold them in place. I can see that there's a little bit of overage from this page on this one. I'll wait till I'm all done. And if that's sticking out like that, I'll just trim it off with a pair of scissors. Julie, you can make it perfect in the end. Okay, so when we're all done with that, these will all be glued together. This will be the back cover, like that, right? It'll be exactly like this, ready to bind. This is will all be one piece because they will be glued together, and so they will be nice and tight. So then, because this is so easy, all you do is grab some bookbinding tape, or if you're ordering it from Amazon, search Gaffer's tape. Gaffer's tape is awesome. It's just like bookbinding tape. I have them both. You can also use duct tape. I have a roll of black duct tape that I also use for this purpose. And you can get, as you know, you can get duct tape in all kinds of designs so that if you want a nice certain type of pattern or colors to match your style on your art journal, go for it. Okay, so I'm going to look at how long it is. I'm going to cut this. Magnetic stuck there. I'm going to cut this just a little bit longer than my book because I would rather have extra and not have to line up the edges exactly. Okay. And then what I'm going to do, and it's a little bit backwards because we don't have the whole thing done here, but I'm going to take my book and I'm going to stand it like this. So if I had all these glued together, I'd be standing it like that. And that way I can see how wide it is. Also, I might need to squeeze it together to pinch it together, even though it's glued on this side. Every time you glue it together and you press it in, you're compressing your fold again. By the time you finish, it should be just fine like this so that it's nice and tight. Where here, even if I hold them together, there's still a lot of space. They're still loose, but they have been compressed so many times and burnished so many times after doing that that they really stay together. So I'll turn it up like this, and then I'll put the tape on like this. And for me, I need to do it sideways. I function better. And what I want to do is fold it in half backwards. Julie, I do like it to be perfectly lined up. And this is how I do that. I'll fold it in half backwards. There, I know that's the middle. I can see the middle of my book, and I'll set this in the middle of my book like that. And then it's just barely touching it, but it is sticking to it. I'll just open it like that, okay? Now it's stuck in the middle. And if I see, I can look at it this way and say, is there the same amount of space on this side as this side? Yeah, there is until the end. I must have moved it just a little, so I'll do that. And the same thing down here, just a tiny bit. And then I'll make sure I didn't add a wrinkle in here or something. Then I come back here and I press this down and burnish this down really, really good on the spine only, okay? Once I've got that, then I will set it on the edge of something because I don't want this sticking to everything. And I'll take the top, I'm going to press the book down, and I'm going to pull the top as hard as I can. And I'm going to pull it over the edge of the book like that. And I'm not doing this because I really don't need to double bind it. I'll save this tape and use it on that book as I finish it. And now I'll burnish that down. And then I can flip it over. No longer need that because that's down. I'll flip it over, do the same on here. I'm pressing this down. I'm pulling that over as far as I can. So it'll be nice and tight. And I'm going to burnish that down. Then I end up with that. Then I can take my scissors and I can clip this. I can clip this, and I can clip this way and get that piece right off. Clip this, and then clip that way. And now it is just like that. It's stretched over both sides. This tape will never, never break on you. It's just, gaffer's tape is used in theatrical productions, in movie production. It is a nice, very strong tape, really just like bookbinding tape, and that's why it works as well. And I do have both of them, and I have several different widths. This one is 2 inches. This is a gaffer's tape. This one is bookbinding tape, but it's 3 inches. This book is small enough that I don't need 3-inch tape. But if I make this 2 inches thick, then I use the 3-inch tape. You could also use 2 pieces if you want to make it really thick and you have one roll.
Bob's your Uncle Ta-da.
Then you put, start it right here and go over that side, cut another piece and start it right there and go over the other side. So they cross over in the middle. And then you end up with a perfectly bound little art journal. And the cover is your art as well. Each page inside is your art. And you may not like it so well because remember, we took pages that weren't our absolute favorite so that we could continue on them, which is what we do on an art journal. We alter that page. So I don't want to put down something that I absolutely love and then destroy it. I'm not sure I wanted to use that because I really like that for some reason. But I'll just, consider what I do with it. And if you have some that you really, really love, consider holding those aside and making one book, one art journal of all the ones that you really, really love. And then you could label it My Favorites or Art Journal Idea Book or something like that, so that you have that just to look at for inspiration, to remember how you did stuff, all that kind of stuff. So I'm Queen Marge. Ta-da! Bob really was my uncle. Oh, Lindy, I can't wait to see it. I am so glad. Please tell me some of you are going to do this because it is so much fun. It is so much fun I sat in this meeting and I took this book out. I started doodling and a couple of people around me looked at it and went, "Are you an artist?" And I said, "Well, I try," and they're like, "That is so darn cool." So, it's just fun to take a book out that is your own design. And then when you finish doing all the pages in the art journal, however you want, it's your own design amped up. Julie will do it. Lindy will do it. Diana, are you going to do it? Margie might do it with scrapbook paper or cardstock, and that would be cool too. And if you like to doodle or do some, art journal type things on it, and don't forget to use all that cool ephemera, collage ephemera that we cut out and made, because that can glue on these pages and look really cool as well. Yeah, so it doesn't have to be just gel prints. It can be altered paper that you've done in any number of ways. It could be scrapbook paper or cardstock, single-sided, so you don't have to waste the other side. But if there's a side you don't like, use that too. Then that side is hidden, glued together. I bet Glynis will do it.
That happens all the time.
Carrie, you got enough gel prints now. That would be awesome. Diane, you could spray each through stencil. Yeah, you can spray with stencil. They're double thick now. Each page is double thick because there's 2, right? So if you put a stencil and spray, or if you put a stencil and put some, lunar paste or any other kind of paste on it, to get some dimension, that works too. If you want to draw on it, if you want to glue on it, and just like you would in any other art journal. Let's see. I don't know if Glynis is still here, but I'll bet she'll try it. DM will try it as soon as she gets enough of her own pages.
Well, at my house, I could have done it.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Oh, okay. I did show you that. Okay. So DM is doing something completely different. She is actually at my house this week. Hi, Sarah. Will, but not till I get back from vacation. Okay. Understandable. DM's actually at my house because while I was out of town last week, she stayed here with Lucy. So I invited her to stay so she could be here for Monday Jumpstart. So I'm going to flip over to her because she had a bunch of gel prints, but they were a lot of them on tissue paper, which is a little bit too thin to do this. So she's been working on another project, and she had a teeny tiny book. Well, it's not teeny tiny. It's little.
It's little.
It's super cute. It's about 3 by 4, would you say?
Yep. So what I did is I had all of these thin ones. Last night, watching a movie, I glued some pages together to make this book. So a little thicker pages. And then what I've done is I've taken the thin pages and glued them on top. I tried using glue stick first, and it wasn't quite sticking because the pages underneath are still a little bit wet. So then what I did is I would take this, I'd put some Stamperia craft glue on it really lightly. And then I took a rubber brush and just leveled it out so that it sort of spread all over the page. And so what I did is I took all the thin pages and put over so you can still see some writing through. And I also rolled over the pages from the next one so that you're getting a sort of a double thing there. You're getting some extra pages or some extra fun on the side. Like this is a really dark page, but I rolled the edges over so there's some extra white there to sort of lighten it up. And then when I go back, I'll probably, that I'll be able to do black on, and it won't look as dark as if it was on that. This is another one on the thin page. And I just rolled these edges over because this page was smaller. I had cut it in half. So you have the edges, and then you have the thin page, and you can still see some of the writing through it. This was one page that was on actual real paper. The 4 pages that I had that were on real paper. I really like this one because of the changes in the color. But I did roll over the one from the next page, which is on thin paper. But this was one of the pulls from my roller page. So there's really nothing on it. So I'll start from base on this one.
Awesome.
And then this one, rolled that one over, and you can see that rolling them over, and I've got one here that I made 2 things into 3 pages. So this one right here was really long, and I put it sort of diagonally. And then I took the really long one from the next page started it over here and pulled it onto this page. And then on this one, I started it here, but then I rolled over the edges, you know, like you're doing a packing or covering a book. I rolled them to the next page.
So you could make an art journal out of your gel prints, even if all you've ever done it on is tissue paper.
Mm-hmm.
You can use another book and you can make it any size. This is a really small one. I love the little ones. This is just a really great size. It's like a pocket size.
Mm-hmm.
Mine is about 4. Well, we know it's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 because we know it's half of a 8 1/2 by 11 piece of paper. And hers is about a 3 by 4 little book that she's just chose to use. So it's just, the concept of it is just so fun, so easy to do, and it makes good use of your gel prints, and actually gives you, instead of going to buy an art book, you make your own art book, and now you can do a whole nother level of art on top of it, because we all end up with some that we really, really like, want to use in journals or in something other project, and then some that are like, it's okay, but I need to take it back to the gel plate and do some more on it, or even then don't really like it. I'd like to just over the top, knock it back a bit, you know, that kind of thing. So small is not so daunting. Yeah, you know what, Julie, that's really a good point, because when it comes to doodling, I found this to be large enough. This felt like a huge page to do this doodling, and I'm just learning to doodle and to Zentangle and all of that. And so having this small, if this was a large book, oh my goodness, I would have felt overwhelmed. As it was, I think it was about a half a day I did one side and a half a day I did the other side. So you are right. It's easier to, I think, to doodle and Zentangle. Most people who actually Zentangle and have books, DM does, Glennis does, Sylvia might have one of these, but they have books. Everybody that I've asked has books that are usually like 6 by 6 or smaller.
Yep.
It's a plain page, because they'll Zentangle on that page. Is that yours?
This is
right
a
there?
4 by 6. Yeah.
Okay, so 4 by 6. But she might not use like the top 2 inches and make a square and Zentangle in it.
Yep.
So Lindy says, hello, DM. I would use rubber stamps. Yes. Perfect, Margie. We were just looking at some stamps.
I was thinking of
that are so darn cool. And that's a great idea, because there are some of these pages that are really light in this one, that some of those stamps we were looking at last night, I think would be really cool over the top of them. Yeah, so you could stamp. You don't have to doodle. Doodling is good for your brain, and I hope it keeps me out of Alzheimer's.
That's true.
Impatient, hate waiting for stuff to dry.
That's why this book is still wet. It wasn't
right. Yeah, the pages are like onion skin paper, and any paint, any glue at all saturates them. So they didn't have a chance. Poor things. We are going to have to run, because I have another call that I'll need to take coming up pretty soon. And we scheduled 12 to 1 so that we don't go too long, so people can actually watch the replay, get the idea, and go on about their day. So have a great day. Thank you for being here. Love you all. I'm so glad to be back. Missed last week's Monday Jumpstart. I really, really miss you when we don't have that on Monday. So looking forward to be back in the groove. And we'll see you all again real soon. Thanks a lot, guys.